Now, first thing is, what do you mean by the ventricles? So can you see in this diagram? This one is the lateral ventricle, this one is the third ventricle, and this is the fourth ventricle. So how you are going to define the ventricle? The ventricle is the cavity which is present in the brain, and in that cavity we have the cerebrospinal fluid. So it is the fluid filled cavity that is present within the brain. Now altogether we have the four different types of ventricle, or four different types of ventricle. One is we have the lateral ventricle, which are two in number. Next one is the third ventricle, and next one is the fourth ventricle. So altogether we have the four ventricles. Now in this diagram you can see this is the left ventricle, and over here on another side we have the right ventricle. Those right and the left lateral ventricle, those two lateral ventricle are interconnected with the third ventricle by a small thing. This is known as the interventricular foramen of Monro. Now next is, this is the third ventricle, this one is the fourth, and can you see the connection between those two? This is the connection, and this is known as the cerebral aqueduct. In other words, we can say it as the aqueduct of Sylvius. I think you know this one, eh? Aqueduct of Sylvius, or cerebral aqueduct of midbrain, which is going to connect the third and the fourth ventricle. Next one is, this is the fourth ventricle, and now the fourth ventricle has got this one. From the fourth ventricle, this will continue with the central canal of the spinal cord. This is the one way. So from the fourth ventricle, cerebrospinal fluid will enter into the central canal of the spinal cord. That is one way. Another one is the cerebrospinal fluid, which is present in the fourth ventricle, will enter into the subarachnoid space. Now, how it is going to enter into the subarachnoid space? For that purpose, we have the three foramen. I'll tell those foramen in detail in the upcoming slide. So over here in the roof of the fourth ventricle, we have got a particular foramen. Through those foramen, the CSF of fourth ventricle will communicate with the subarachnoid space. Now next one is, when you trace the central canal of the spinal cord downward, now in a lower part, the lower part has not been shown over here. The central canal of the spinal cord, in a lower part has got the certain dilatation. That dilatation is known as the terminal ventricle. The next is, we have the ventricular system, and you know the ventricular system is the fluid filled cavity, and this cavity are lined by one modified epithelial tissue that is known as the ependymal cells, and the ependymal cells are ciliated columnar cells which line the ventricles. That is known as the ependymal cells. Is it clear till now? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and then I'll proceed to the lateral ventricle. Now, I've already told you the lateral ventricle are two in number. Now, can you see this diagram? We can see the left lateral ventricle, right lateral ventricle. Now, those lateral ventricle, that means each hemisphere has got the one lateral ventricle. So, the right and the left lateral ventricle will be interconnected with the third ventricle by the interventricular foramen. Now, when you see the lateral ventricle, you can see it is just like the C shape. Somewhat it is like the C shape. The lateral ventricle has got the central part. This part is known as the body. This is known as the body, and this body has got the three extension. One going towards the frontal lobe, that is known as anterior horn. This one going towards the temporal lobe, that is known as the inferior horn, and this one is known as the posterior horn. So the lateral ventricle, what are the parts of the lateral ventricle? Body, anterior horn, posterior horn, inferior horn. These are the parts of lateral ventricle. Now we have to know each part of the lateral ventricle in detail. So the body, you can see over here also, this one is known as the body. अब कति part ले हामीले body भन्ने. The body is mainly present in the parietal lobe. So over here we can see the interventricular foramen. So from here it will extend from the interventricular foramen to the splenium of corpus callosum. That means somewhere up to here. This whole is known as the body of lateral ventricle. Is it clear? Now just see, this one is the corpus callosum. This is the splenium, trunk, genu, rostrum. These are the different part of corpus callosum. So from the interventricular foramen of Monro, Barton, splenium summum. So over here, somewhere over here, we have the body of a lateral ventricle. Now next, the relation of the body of lateral ventricle. When you got the body of lateral ventricle, it will just be a triangular in shape. So the triangular in shape, it has got the roof, it has got the floor, and we have the medial wall. Now see over here, just above the roof of the body of lateral ventricle, can you see this part, this one? This is known as the corpus callosum. So the roof is formed by the under surface of corpus callosum. This one is the floor. The floor of body of lateral ventricle will be formed by caudate nucleus, upper part of thalamus. Now next one is Ajur. Now next one is the medial wall. Now see, this one is the medial wall. The medial wall of lateral ventricle, the body of the lateral ventricle will be formed by septum pellucidum and the body of fornix. I'll show this one same thing in another diagram. You can see the triangular, somewhat the triangular in shape. This one is the lateral ventricle. Above we have the corpus callosum. Below we have the nucleus, caudate nucleus, and the thalamus. Medially we have the septum pellucidum and the fornix. So these are the relation of body of lateral ventricle. Is it clear now? Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now next one is the anterior horn. Now how many horn are there in the lateral ventricle? So what are the horn of the lateral ventricle? Can you tell me?
Anterior, posterior, and inferior.
Okay, anterior, posterior, and the inferior. Now just see over here. This one is the anterior horn. This is the posterior horn, and this one is the inferior horn. So the anterior horn is present in the frontal lobe. Similarly, posterior horn is present in the occipital lobe, and the inferior horn is present in the temporal lobe. Now the anterior horn, कति partलाई anterior horn भन्ने, from the interventricular foramen. So in front of the interventricular foramen, this part which is present within the frontal lobe, that is known as the anterior horn of lateral ventricle. Now see the same thing. Now the anterior horn, so somewhere over here, you green color like marker is in it. This is known as the corpus callosum. This one is the septum pellucidum. So inside this one, we have the ventricle. So suppose somewhere over here, we have the anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Yani the anterior horn of lateral ventricle. So this is the roof. This one is the floor. This is the anterior wall. And this one is known as the medial wall. Now, roof, floor, and the anterior wall of anterior horn of the lateral ventricle is formed by corpus callosum, but those are formed by the different part of the corpus callosum. You know the different part of the corpus callosum. Posteriorly, we have the splenium. Then this is known as a trunk or body. This bending is known as a genu, and this is known as the rostrum. So above, the roof is formed by the trunk or the body of the corpus callosum. The floor is formed by the rostrum of the corpus callosum. The anterior wall is formed by the genu of the corpus callosum. Next, medial wall will be formed by the septum pellucidum. So this is the relation of anterior horn of anterior horn of the lateral ventricle. यो anterior horn को मात्रै हो, अघि हामीले body को पढ्यौं. Similarly, this is the relation of the anterior horn of lateral ventricle. Is it clear? भनेपछि corpus callosum के हुने भयो? Body यहाँनिर हुने भयो. The body will be present in the upper part. The genu will be present in the anterior part, and the rostrum will be present in the floor, like this. And over here we have the septum pellucidum. Now next one is the posterior horn. The posterior horn of the lateral ventricle is present behind the splenium of the corpus callosum, and it is present in the occipital lobe. Now this is the diagram which shows the relation of the posterior horn of lateral ventricle. Suppose this one, can you see the dark color one? This is the posterior horn of the lateral ventricle. Now this one is known as the roof and the lateral wall. That means the roof and the lateral wall are continuous with each other. Similarly, the floor and the middle. The floor and the middle wall is continuous with each other. So the roof and the lateral wall kikli banako cha yani हेर्नु त. So we can see the fiber of optic radiation. Can you see the fiber of optic radiation? Because this is the posterior horn which is present in the occipital lobe, and in the occipital lobe we have got the optic radiation. So this is the optic radiation. And next one, this is known as the tapetum of corpus callosum. So this too will form the roof and lateral wall of posterior horn of lateral ventricle. Now what do you mean by the tapetum? Which fiber is known as the tapetum? Corpus callosum को कुन पार्टबाट पास हुने फाइबरलाई we call it as a tapetum. I've already taught you about this one. Hello? Corpus callosum को tapetum भन्ने थाहा छ कि थाहा छैन? हेलो? तपाईहरु सुनिराख्नु भएको छ?
सुनिरहेछ म्याम।
अनि ट्यापेटम भनेको के हो त ट्यापेटम? थाहा छैन?
मिडल पोर्सनबाट पास हुने।
मिडल पोर्सन मतलब
कोर्सियस माइनर भन्दा पछाडी मेजर भन्दा अगाडि।
त्यो पार्टले के भन्छ त? व्हाट इज दैट पार्ट अफ द corpus callosum known as?
ट्यापेटम।
body or the trunk भन्नु न. Okay, the fiber that pass through the body or the trunk of the corpus callosum, that is known as the tapetum. So this is the tapetum optic radiation which will form the roof and the lateral wall. Next one is, can you see the floor and the middle wall is continuous? So you can see the two things. Can you see the bulb of posterior? You देखिए bulb of posterior. So this is the bulb. This one is the bulb of the posterior horn, which is formed by the forceps major. This is the forceps major, which will form the elevation that is known as the bulb of posterior horn. Next one, you can see the calcar avis. This is known as the calcar avis. And this is known as the calcar avis, which is formed by the calcarean sulcus. Oh, this is the calcarean sulcus, which will form the elevation. This is known as the calcar avis. So the calcar avis plus bulb of posterior horn will be related in the floor and the medial wall of the posterior horn of lateral ventricle. Now, can you tell me what do you mean the forceps major? Forceps major भनेको के हो? The fiber that passes through forceps major, forceps minor भनेर छ नि. The fiber that passes through which part of the corpus callosum? Okay, भयो अब तपाईहरुले क्वेशन सोधेर काम छैन रहेछ है. So the fiber that passes through the splenium of corpus callosum, that is known as the forceps major. Now next one is the inferior horn. So this is the inferior horn which is present within the temporal lobe, and this will begin from the posterior end of the central part. So this from the posterior part of the central part, this is the part which is extending downward and forward into the temporal lobe. Now over here, this one is the inferior horn, this is the roof, and this one is the floor. So what you have to know is you have to know the relation of the roof and the relation of the floor. So the roof one, we have the same thing, the tapetum of the corpus callosum. Next one is caudate nucleus. Next one is the stria terminalis. Now this stria terminalis is the projection fiber. This is the fiber which arises from the amygdala body. Amygdala भन्ने थाहा छ नि हैन? You know the amygdala. So from the amygdala, the fiber will arise, that is known as the stria terminalis. Now next one is on the floor. So on the floor we have got the collateral eminence. Can you see? This is the collateral eminence which is produced by the collateral sulcus. So this collateral sulcus will form a bulge. This is known as the collateral eminence. Now next one, this is known as the hippocampus. This is the hippocampus, and this is known as the Fimbria. So the fimbria are those fiber that will arise from the hippocampus. Hippocampal cell bata aeko fiber line, we call it as a fimbria. And next we have got the choroid plexus. So this all structure will be related to the floor of inferior horn. So this is the overall relation of the lateral ventricle. So next is the third ventricle. So this one is the third ventricle. Third ventricle is the gap which is present between the two thalamus. That's why it is known as the interthalamic space. Now when you have to see the communication above and anteriorly, it will communicate with the lateral ventricle through the interventricular foramen of Monro. Next one, and below it is going to communicate. Below it is going to communicate with the fourth ventricle through the cerebral aqueduct. Now this third ventricle is going to have the roof. This is the roof. This one is known as the floor. This is the anterior wall, and this one is known as the posterior wall. Now what you have to know is you have to know all the boundary of the third ventricle. Third ventricle is very important. You have to know the boundary. Now see the boundary, the anterior wall. Now what is there in the anterior wall? Can you see this one, the elongated structure? This one is known as the lamina terminalis. Lamina terminalis. This is the lamina terminalis. Now next one is, you can see the another bulge over here in the lamina terminalis. This is known as the anterior commissure. So anterior commissure भनेको what type of fiber is this one? This is the commissural fiber, projection fiber, or the association fiber. Kun fiber ho? Anterior commissure.
Commissural.
So commissural fiber, how you can say this one is the commissural fiber? Which two parts are interconnected? The fiber that passes through the anterior commissure will connect the olfactory tract of the both the side, and it will also connect the temporal gyrus of both the hemispheres. So temporal gyrus of both the hemisphere and the olfactory tract of both side, that is interconnected by the fiber passing through the anterior commissure. Now next one is, see on the posterior wall. The posterior wall is formed by the pineal body. This is the pineal gland. Next one we have got the posterior commissure, and next one we have the cerebral aqueduct. This is cerebral aqueduct. So the fiber that passes through the posterior commissure, this one will connect the pretectal nucleus. And this will connect the pretectal nucleus. Now next one is the floor. So on the floor over here, we have got the optic chiasma, infundibulum, and then this is known as the mammillary body. Now behind the mammillary body, can you see the dark spot? You sansana dark spot dekhicha? Ali masino halko. This one you can see over here, yaniro. So those dark spot, those are mainly formed, those are known as the posterior perforated substance. Now what do you mean by the posterior perforated substance? The posterior perforated substance are mainly formed by the central branch of posterior cerebral artery. That means the posterior cerebral artery will give rise to a branch that is known as a central branch, which will pierce this part and will enter inside the brain and to supply the inner part of this brain. त्यसलाई भन्छ posterior perforated substance. So those all structure will form the floor. Now next one is, we have got the lateral wall. Now this is the lateral wall. The lateral wall will be formed by medial surface of thalamus, then some part of the hypothalamus. Now you can see the demarcation. You can see some sulcus present between the thalamus and hypothalamus. This is known as the hypothalamic sulcus. Now the last one is the roof. The roof is formed by the fornix. This is known as the fornix, and the tela choroida and the ependyma. अब tela choroida भनेको के हो? I'll tell you later on. Tela choroida is the double fold of pyometer that is known as the tela choroida. So these are the boundary of the third ventricle. Is it clear now? So do you have any confusion till now? Hello? के सोध्नु पर्ने छ तपाईहरुलाई?
छैन म्याम.
Now next is the fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle is also another important topic for your exam. So this is the fourth ventricle. Now you can see over here, this is the fourth ventricle which is present between pons and upper part of the medulla oblongata and cerebellum. So in between those three parts, we have got the fourth ventricle. The fourth ventricle has got a certain boundary. It has got the angle, and it has got the super angle, inferior angle, and the two lateral angle, because it's just resemble like the rhomboid shape. You separate rhomboid shape. So we have got the super angle, inferior angle, and the two lateral angle. Now we have got the superlateral boundary and we have the inferior lateral boundary. Now next, whatever you are seeing in this part, this is known as the floor of the fourth ventricle. You'll have floor ones. And this one, can you see this one? This is known as the roof of fourth ventricle. So all together, we have the roof. This is known as the roof. This is known as the floor of fourth ventricle. Then we have got the lateral boundary, superior lateral and the inferior lateral. Then we have the angle, super angle, inferior angle, and the two lateral angle. Now first we'll move on to the angle. Now see the super angle. The super angle over here, the fourth ventricle is communicating with the third ventricle through the cerebral aqueduct. So superiorly we have the cerebral aqueduct. Now inferiorly it will continue with the central canal of spinal cord. So below we have the central canal of spinal cord. Now see on the lateral wall. The lateral angle is formed by this one. This one is going to form the lateral angle. So the lateral angle is formed by the dorsal surface of inferior cerebellar peduncle. Cerebellum त भइसक्यो हैन. So cerebellum भइसक्यो.
भइसक्यो म्याम.
Okay. So in the cerebellum, I think cerebellum भइसक्यो नि. See, you have gone through the superior cerebellar peduncle, middle, and the inferior. So lateral angle is formed by the dorsal surface of inferior cerebellar peduncle. So this is going to form the lateral angle. Now, next one is on the lateral angle. So over here on the lateral angle, I saw in this one. Somewhere over here on the lateral angle, there is a small opening which is present on the lateral angle. That opening is known as the foramen of Lusca, and through this foramen of Lusca, the CSF which is present in the fourth ventricle will pass into the subarachnoid space. So on a lateral angle, we have got one opening that is known as the foramen of Lusca. So this one is the foramen of Lusca. So if you are not able to remember the foramen of Lusca, you can remember the lateral aperture. Lateral aperture bhanda pani huncha hai. So through the lateral aperture, CSF of the fourth ventricle is going to discharge into the subarachnoid space. That is the pontine system. Now next one is the boundary. Now in the boundary, as this is the rhomboid shape fossa, this is the rhomboid shape fossa, it has got the superior lateral boundary and it has got the inferior lateral boundary. Now in the superior lateral boundary is mainly formed by superior cerebellar peduncle. This is going to form the superior lateral boundary. Now next one is the inferior lateral boundary. Inferior lateral boundary will be formed by inferior cerebellar peduncle, cunate tubercle, and the gracile tubercle. Gracile tubercle, cunate tubercle, and the inferior cerebellar peduncle. This will form the inferior lateral boundary. Is it clear now? The superior lateral boundary and the inferior lateral boundary. Okay. Now the superior lateral boundary के लिए बनाउँछ त? The superior lateral boundary is formed by
superior cerebellar peduncle and
the inferior lateral will be formed by
inferior lateral gracile tubercle and cunate tubercle.
Tubercle plus inferior cerebellar peduncle. Okay. Now next one is the roof. Now what you have to know over here is you have to know this part. Your part must be now the roof is, we have the upper part and we have the lower part. Now over here in the roof is formed by the superior cerebral peduncle. This is the meeting point of the superior cerebral peduncle. This one is shown over here, and of the opposite side is this one. These two are the superior cerebral peduncle of both the side, plus these two peduncles are interconnected by a superior medullary velum. You can see over here, this is the thin seat. This is a sheet of white matter which is going to connect, which is connecting the supracerebral peduncle. So this is known as a superior medullary velum. The superior medullary velum plus two supracerebral peduncle will form the roof in upper part. Similarly, in the lower part, we have got the inferior medullary velum, and we have got the tela choroida and the ependyma. Those all structure will form the inferior part. Now see over here, can you see the inferior medullary velum in the lower part? This is the inferior medullary velum in the lower part. Now when I move down the inferior medullary velum over here, you can see a small opening. Can you see the small opening? This one? This is the opening which is present in the lower part of the inferior medullary velum. This is known as the median aperture, or also known as foramen of Magendie. This median opening is known as foramen of Magendie. But see, lateral angle ma kun opening to, in a lateral angle of fourth ventricle, we have the foramen of Lusca. Those are two in number because we have the two lateral angle. And next one is we have the foramen of Magendie, which is present in the lower part of the roof. So altogether we have the three opening, two foramen of Lusca and one foramen of Magendie, from where the CSF, which is present over here in the fourth ventricle, will enter into the subarachnoid space. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now next one is in the so this one is the infracerebral peduncle. The cavity of the ventricle extends laterally over the infracerebral peduncle to form the lateral recess of the ventricle. It is not so important, so no need to remember this one. But what you have to do is you have to remember the foramen of Lusca plus foramen of Magendie. Now I'll move on to the floor. This one is very, very important. In your exam, describe the floor of the fourth ventricle with a well-level diagram. That may be a question for you, So you have to remember this one. So you have to practice the diagram of the floor of the fourth ventricle, and you have to know all those features present in the floor of fourth ventricle. Now just see, this is the rhomboid safe fossa. The floor of the fourth ventricle is the rhomboid safe fossa, and the floor is formed by this one. This one is the posterior surface of the pons, and this one is the posterior surface of the upper part of medulla oblongata. Now how I can say this one is of the pons and this one is of the medulla oblongata? Because over here, can you see the stria medullaris? These are the stria medullaris. These are the fiber which arise from the arcuate nucleus, and you know the arcuate nucleus. Arcuate nucleus. So from the arcuate nucleus, the fiber will arise that will pass dorsally, that will decussate and finally pass through the floor of the fourth ventricle. Those are known as the stria medullaris. Now from here, this will enter into the cerebellum, forming enter into the cerebellum. Now this stria medullaris will form the demarcation between the pons and medulla oblongata. So you can see the upper part is formed by the pons and the lower part of the floor is formed by the upper part of the medulla oblongata. Now this is all. The next one is the rhomboid fossa is divided into two equal halves by the median sulcus. Can you see the sulcus in a midline? This is known as the median sulcus. This is the one half. This one is another half. Now focus on a single half. Focus on each half. Each half of the floor of the fourth ventricle is further divided by a sulcus limitant. Can you see another sulcus by the side of the median sulcus? This one. This is known as a sulcus limitans, which is going to divide each half into the two different parts. One is known as the median. This is the median part. This is known as the median eminence, L1, the median eminence. And this one, lateral part, is known as the vestibular area. So we have the sulcus limitant. Yasama bujhecha?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now see, one, I've told you about the stria medullaris. Next one, median sulcus. Next one is a sulcus limitant. And next sulcus limitant will divide this one into median elevation, this one median eminence, and this is known as the vestibular area. Now see, just see this one, the sulcus limited. Our sulcus limited, this one somewhere over here, this is the widest part. So at the widest part, the sulcus limited will present a surface depression. This is the depression which is present over there. This is known as a surface depression. This is known as superphobia. Now next one is at the level of the superphobia, the median eminence. This median eminence will produce the elevation. Can you see the elevation? This is known as the facial colliculus. Now I think you know how the facial colliculus is formed. The facial colliculus is mainly formed by the fiber of the facial nerve, mainly from the motor root of the facial nerve and the abducens nucleus. That means the abducens nucleus will be wound around by the facial nerve that will form a bulge that is known as the facial colliculus. So at the level of the superphobia, we have the facial colliculus in a median eminence. Now next, now keep on tracing the sulcus limiting superiorly. Now when you trace the sulcus limiting superiorly, it flattens. Right? It flattens out in the upper part. That one is known as the locus coeruleus. Now over here where the sulcus limiting would get flattened, over there is the bluish gray in color. So over here we have the bluish gray in color that is known as the locus coeruleus, and that is mainly present, that is mainly formed by the pigmented nerve cell due to the presence of the substantia ferruginea in the upper part of the sulcus limiting. We can see the somewhat bluish gray area over there, and that is known as locus coeruleus. Now next one, just keep on tracing the sulcus limiting downward. Now when you trace the sulcus limiting downward, you can see the another depression in a lower part. This is known as the inferior fovea. Now just opposite the inferior fovea, or at the level of the inferior fovea, on a median eminence over here, in the median eminence, we have got the hypoglossal trigon. So this is the hypoglossal trigon at the level of the inferior fovea in median eminence. Okay. Now lateral to this one, we have got the vestibular area. This is the vestibular area. Now next one is below the hypoglossal trigon over here. Over here we have got the vagal trigon, which is present between the hypoglossal trigon and the vestibular area. Now beneath the hypoglossal trigon, what is present over there? Hypoglossal trigon ko beneath ma, what is present over there? Keep present on the hypoglossal trigon ko monipati. So we have the hypoglossal nucleus. Now in a vestibular area, we have the vestibular nucleus. Now over here in the vagal trigon, we have the vagal nucleus, that is the dorsal nucleus of vagus. So all those nucleus are present in their respective area. Now next is, this is the vagal trigon, and somewhere over here we have the vomiting area that is known as the area prostrima. So the area prostrima and the vagal trigon both are separated from each other by the funiculus separations. Funiculus separations, let's separate. So this will be enough for you. Now I'll repeat once again. I'll repeat everything once again. Now let's see. This is the floor of the fourth ventricle, formed by the pons, posterior surface of the pons and posterior surface of the medulla oblongata, that are demarcated from each other by the stria medullaris. This is the fiber arising from the arcuate nucleus. Now you divide the whole rhomboid fossa, that is the fourth floor of the fourth ventricle, into two equal half by the median sulcus, into the right and the left half. Now each half is further divided by the sulcus limiting into median eminence and the vestibular area. Median eminence and the vestibular area. Now this is the sulcus limiting, which will have the superphobia, that is the surface depression known as the superphobia at the widest part. At the level of the superphobia, the median eminence will have the facial colliculus, which is mainly formed by the facial nerve winding around the abducens nucleus. Now next is, when you trace the sulcus limiting in the upper part, it will represent a flattened area where there is the presence of substantia ferruginea. So this is known as a locus coeruleus. Now tracing sulcus limiting downward, we have another surface depression that is known as inferior fovea. At the level of the inferior fovea, in the median eminence, we have the hypoglossal trigone. Laterally, we have the vestibular area. Below the hypoglossal trigone, we have the vagal trigone, and the vagal trigone and the vomiting area are separated from each other by the funiculus separations. So these are the points which you have to remember. Is it clear now? Hello?
Clear, ma'am.
के सोध्नुपर्ने छ? Okay. Now next one is the CSF circulation. Have you learned the CSF circulation in physiology part? CSF circulation in physiology मा cover भयो?
भएको छैन? छैन, ma'am.
China, okay. Now the CSF circulation, you will be reading the same CSF circulation in physiology in detail. Okay? So I'm just going to tell you about something, just the background, aliali matre. So about the cerebrospinal fluid. Now you know the cerebrospinal fluid is the clear or odorless and the colorless modified tissue fluid, which are mainly present in the ventricular system and the subaqueous space. That is known as the CSF. Now the normal rate is 600 to 700 ml per day. Now the formation, you have to remember the formation is formed by the choroid plexus of the ventricle. Now I'll tell you in detail what you mean by the choroid plexus in the next slide. Now where the CSF is going to absorb, the CSF is going to absorb in blood in a dural venous sinus. You know about the dural venous sinus, right? Dural venous sinus bhaisakyo. So the cerebrospinal fluid will be finally absorbed in the dural venous sinus through the arachnoid villi. Now these are the composition. You just go through this one: water, mineral, glucose, plasma, protein, keratin, ions. So these are the composition of the CSF. Now say, so these are the ventricle. This one is the lateral ventricle. And this is the right, and this one is the left lateral ventricle. And you can see the enlarged part of this one. This is known as the choroid plexus. 11 is the choroid plexus. Right? So you can see the blood vessel. You can see the double fold of the pyometer. This is known as the double fold of the pyometer, which is known as a tila choroida. Now this is known as the blood capillary. Now outside the blood capillary, you can see the ependymal cells. Those are known as the ependymal cells. This whole thing is known as the choroid plexus. Now this over here we have the blood capillary, blood is over here, and over here we have the CSF. So this thing will act as a barrier. This thing is act as a barrier. This is known as the blood CSF barrier. Okay. Now how the CSF is formed? The CSF is formed from the blood. So the CSF is formed from the blood, but this has to pass through those barrier and finally come out in the ventricle. So this is the modified tissue fluid, and this fluid is modified by the ependymal cells. The ependymal cells which are present over here, this will going to modify the fluid. Now the choroid plexus. So what do you mean by the choroid plexus? The choroid plexus is the highly vascularized secretory epithelial tissue which will produce the cerebrospinal fluid. So you can see we have the tila choroida. This one is the double fold of the pyometer. We have the vascular fringes that is known as the blood vessels. And next one we have the ependymal cells. So ependymal cells, blood vessels plus double fold of the pyometer. This whole is going to form the choroid plexus. 11 is a choroid plexus. Okay. Now you know from over blood from over here the blood capillary. So something this one the fluid will get filtered and finally come out as the cerebrospinal fluid. Now this one is also the same thing. So the waste product will enter into the blood vessels, into the blood. Now next one is the iron. Some of the iron will get filtered over here, and that will form the cerebrospinal fluid. Now next is the communication. Our communication, this one is the lateral ventricle. Now the cerebrospinal fluid that is present in the lateral ventricle will enter into the third ventricle through the interventricular foramen of Monro. Now from the third ventricle, it will enter into the fourth ventricle through the cerebral aqueduct. So Now from the fourth ventricle, it has got the two way. One, it can enter into the central canal of the spinal cord. So some of the fluid will enter into the central canal of the spinal cord. Some of the fluid will enter into the subarachnoid space through the median aperture and the lateral aperture. So through to the foramen of Magendie and the foramen of Lusca, the CSF of fourth ventricle will enter into the subarachnoid space. So this is known as the cerebrospinal fluid circulation, and you have to remember this one. You flow chart yaad gar hai. You saw from the lateral ventricle, third ventricle foramen of Monro, third ventricle cerebral aqueduct, fourth ventricle central canal of spinal cord. Next one is foramen of Lusca, foramen of Magendie, subarachnoid space. Finally, from the subarachnoid space, can you see the subarachnoid space? Now finally, from the subarachnoid space, it will enter into the dural venous sinus through the arachnoid villi. Can you see the arachnoid villi over here? So from the arachnoid villi, this will enter into the dural venous sinus. That means CSF is finally going to absorb in the blood. Blood but आएर फेरि blood में जान्छ. This is all about the cerebrospinal fluid. Is it clear? Do you have any question? Now these are the function of the cerebrospinal fluid. One, it is going to protect our delicate nervous tissue. Next one is it will help to float the brain in the cerebrospinal fluid. So floating of the brain in the cerebrospinal fluid, the normal weight of the brain is 1.5 kg, but when you measure the brain in the cerebrospinal fluid, it only weighs about 50 grams. So it is going to reduce the weight of the brain. Okay. Next, exchange of the gases and nutrient and voice. Do you know this one? It will regulate the volume of the cranial cavity. Now the applied anatomy, we have the particular cerebrospinal fluid obstruction. So whenever there is a cerebrospinal fluid obstruction, then this is going to increase intracranial pressure in adult. Now next one is accumulation of the fluid in the brain, that is known as the hydrocephalus, that is known as the water in the brain. Now there may be any condition. So we mainly have the external hydrocephalus and the internal hydrocephalus. So detail ma pathma pornunse tapule. So external hydrocephalus means the collection of the cerebrospinal fluid in a subarachnoid space, that is known as the external hydrocephalus. So due to the external part or obstruction by. Now next one is internal hydrocephalus. So internal hydrocephalus, mainly there will be the dilatation of the ventricle. Now why there is the dilatation of the ventricle? Because there will be the obstruction in its communication. So sometimes the cerebral aqueduct may get obstructed. Sometimes interventricular foramen of Monro may get obstructed. So that is known as an internal hydrocephalus. So this is all about today's class. If you have any question, then you can ask me. केही सोध्नु पर्ने? हेलो, खै तपाईहरु त बोल्दै बोल्नुहुन्न त. केही क्वेशन सोध्नु पर्ने छ? Now, तपाईहरुलाई एक्जामको लागि भेरी इम्पोर्टेन्ट भनेको you have to know the boundary of the lateral ventricle, relation of the lateral ventricle. Next one, you have to know the boundary of the third ventricle, and next one, the floor of the fourth ventricle with Y level diagram. Okay, so those things you have to know. Okay, so the ventricles is very important. Okay, then I'll end the class. Okay, thank you everyone. एकछिन तपाईहरु लिभ नगर्नु है.